Good evening and welcome. Is the live stream operating? Yep. Good evening and welcome to the 26 April 2021 meeting of Dubbo Regional Council. I can advise that Council is now web streaming its Standing Committee and Council meetings live to the internet. As such, all those present should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Your attendance at this meeting is your acceptance of the condition that your image may be recorded and streamed to the internet, as well as being retained in the archive of the recorded Council meetings and Standing Committee meetings. I now open the April 2021 ordinary meeting, the time being 5:31 p.m. and we start with Councillor John Ryan with prayer and acknowledgement of country.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. O God, grant that by the knowledge of thy will, all we may resolve shall work together for good. We pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of the land. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past and present, of the Wiradjuri nation, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal peoples from other nations who are present.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. The first item is confirmation of minutes from the meeting of 19 April. Can I have someone move that they be accepted? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Seconded, Councillor Etheridge. Any questions or debate? All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. We've received items of apologies from Councillors Grant, Moore and Gumley, while Councillor Shields was previously granted leave of absence from this meeting by Council. Can I please have someone move that those three apologies be accepted? Thanks, Councillor Parker. Seconded, Councillor Ryan. Any questions or debate? All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. That brings us to item 6.2 of 21 public forum. There's no registered speakers, but is there any members of the public who would like to address Council tonight? I don't think there are anyone here. Okay, very good. We'll move on to mayoral minutes. The first one is CCL 2162A, payment of expenses and provision of facilities for the mayor and councillors. This is a late mayoral minute, and I'm proposing, councillors, that we vary the policy for the payment of expenses and provision of facilities for the mayor and councillors to cover the rare situation when a councillor takes extended leave and would, under the current policy, have unnecessary access to council facilities such as cars, phones and iPads. In my view, the community would not expect a councillor on extended leave to have access to these items. I'm conscious Council is receiving advice on 4 May 2021 more broadly as to the questions of entitlements and pay. However, this issue seems rather straightforward and obvious and conceptually separate from the current situation regarding the mayor. Accordingly, I'm asking councillors to deal with it today. I'm of the view, councillors, that this change is not substantial, and pursuant to section 253 of the Local Government Act 1992, there's no requirement for it to be placed on public exhibition, but council will have to be of that view in order to not engage that requirement in relation to public exhibition. I note that section 253 states, despite subsections 1 and 2, a council need not give public notice of a proposed amendments to its policy for the payment of expenses or provision of facilities if the council is of the view that the proposed amendment is not substantial. I'll move that mayoral minute. Have we got a seconder? Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Any questions or debate, councillors? Yes, thanks, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Mayor. Look, I agree with the recommendation, except for the word of 1 month. I don't think 1 month is not quite right in terms of 1 month. If won't keep us up to date with what's going on, so I'd like to move an amendment, if you wouldn't mind. That the policy for the payment of expenses and provision of facilities for the mayor and councillors be amended to provide that a councillor or the mayor is or has been granted leave of absence in excess of 1 month, they are to return any car, phone or iPad provided by council with the expiration of their leave of absence. So item 2 to remain the same, and really all that's going to be changed is 1 month to in excess of 1 month. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Parker. Have we got a seconder for that? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Any questions or debate on the amendment? I'll put that then. All those in favour? and against. I declare the amendment carried. The motion then, or the amendment, becomes the motion. Any further speakers on the motion, councillors? I'll put it then. All those in favour and against? I declare it carried. This brings us, councillors, to the second mayoral minute in relation to the proposed coronial inquiry in relation to the suicide of our former staff member, Mark Finlayson. Excuse me, councillors, I'll just open my iPad. Yeah, thank you, Susan. I'm proposing through this mayoral minute that councillors support a public inquiry into the death of Mark Finlayson and seek staff advice on a request from his widow Thea that council provide her with documents relating to the investigation and report undertaken following Mark's death. Mark was a dedicated employee of Dubbo Regional Council who tragically committed suicide in August 2018. There was recently, as many community members will be aware, a story about his death on the television program A Current Affair. Such an inquiry was called for by his widow Thea Finlayson in that program. In 2019, a finding was made that Mark's death was work-related, despite him having committed suicide at night and away from home. Thea has written to me recently and advised that Mark told her before his death that alleged bullying and harassment was playing a role in creating the pressures that Mark was experiencing as a manager. This greatly concerns me, and it's a particular matter that I believe might warrant the holding of a public coronial inquiry. Councillors, as is widely known, Dubbo Regional Council has received in the current term of council allegations of bullying, threats and harassment. Our state MP has raised concerns that such practices have occurred and have not been properly dealt with. These allegations may corroborate what Thea has said as quoted above. These matters may warrant the question of a public coronial inquiry being looked at anew. Myself and Councillor Ryan went on the weekend to speak to Thea, and she very clearly expressed to us that she would appreciate the support of councillors in relation to the question of whether there is a coronial inquiry. She is someone who has obviously gone through the harrowing and unique journey of being someone directly affected by suicide. I think in light of all that's happened, she deserves answers about the questions that have arisen. She is a beautiful person, and we had a conversation with her yesterday about a whole range of matters. She is very reasonable and very intelligent and very thoughtful in her observations about these matters, and her quest, her desire for answers, I think, is reasonable, understandable and appropriate. So I'm certainly hoping that councillors will support the mayoral minute. Have we got a seconder for the mayoral minute? Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Any questions or debate? Thanks, Councillor Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. Yes, look, I'd like to speak in support of this. As Councillor Lawrence said, we spent quite a few hours with Thea yesterday, and the heartbreak from an incident like this, a traumatic incident, is something that will never go away. I think it's our duty as councillors, as an organisation, to provide her with every answer we possibly can, so that at least we have done our part to ease her burden. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Any further questions or debate? Thanks, Councillor Parker.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. Look, one would probably ask you why this matter is being brought to a head now, but I think, as you've already explained, the reasons for it, given the amount of publicity that is being directed at council in terms of culture and bullying and all those other aspects that have been sort of rumoured around, I certainly support a public inquiry, and hope to that will put the issue to bed. And as I said at probably the previous meeting, we can proceed along and be a success. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Parker. Any further questions or debate, councillors? I'll put the mayoral minute. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. That brings us to item CCL 2163, the report of the Dubbo Regional Council Solar and Wind Farm Consultative Committee meeting of 6 April 2021. I think, Councillor Diffie, you might have an alternate motion, is that right?
Yes, I do, Mr Acting Mayor. That the report be deferred due to an administrative matter.
I was going to do that at the end, but I can do that now if you wish. I'll move back to, I'm sorry, Councillor Diffie, I'll move back to item CCL 2162C. That's a confidential matter. That's being distributed now, I think. So I move that, and then I think we just propose to the councillors that we move into the committee of the whole at the end of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, yep. Councillors, I might put now that we move into committee of the whole at the end of the meeting. All those in favour and against, I declare that carried. I'll move on then to item CCL 2163, the report of the Dubbo Regional Council Solar and Wind Farm Consultative Committee meeting of 6 April 2021, and I'll return to you, Councillor Diffie. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. I would like to move that the report be deferred due to an administrative matter.
Any questions? All right, I'll turn my microphone on. Have we got a seconder for that alternate motion? Thanks, Councillor Etheridge, and thank you, Councillor Diffie, for your assistance. Any questions or debate on that? No? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare that carried. Okay, that brings us to item CCL 2164, the report of the Development and Environment Committee meeting of 12 April. Can I have someone move that report, please? Thanks, Councillor Diffie. Seconded, Councillor Parker. Any questions or debate? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. That brings us to the report of the Infrastructure and Livability Committee meeting of 12 April. Can I have someone move that? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Seconded, Councillor Diffie. Any questions or debate? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. And then lastly, on the committee reports, the report of the Culture, Economy and Corporate Committee meeting of 12 April. Can I have someone move that? Thanks, Councillor Parker. Seconded, Councillor Diffie. Any questions or debate, councillors? I'll put that then. All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. That brings us to item CCL 2167, the draft 2021-2022 delivery program and operational plan. Can I have someone please move the report of the CEO? Thanks, Councillor Jones. Seconded, Councillor Diffie. Any questions or debate, councillors? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare that carried. And this brings us, councillors, to the budget, item CCL 2168, the draft budget, I should say, draft budget fees and charges. Can I have someone please move the report of the CEO? Thanks, Councillor Parker. Seconded, Councillor Etheridge. Any questions or debate, councillors? Thanks, Councillor Diffie.
Mr Acting Mayor, I'd just like to say that this is a draft budget that the staff have worked very hard to put together for us as a council and the community as a whole, and we appreciate everything that's gone into it. It hasn't been easy based on last year and then having the drought as well. But it is a draft budget, it is out for community consultation, and it is important that the community have a look at this draft budget and provide us with your feedback and make submissions on this draft budget if you have issues with any area of it. We cannot make any changes unless we have that guidance from the community, and so I really encourage the community to have input into this draft budget.
Thanks, Councillor Diffie. Any other questions or debate? Yeah, look, I would like to repeat those sentiments of Councillor Diffie and encourage members of the community to make submissions about the budget if there's things in it that you don't like or there's things not in it that you think should be in it. That's why we put it out for exhibition, so the community has a chance to be closely involved in the budget process of council. Any other further questions or debate, councillors? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. This brings us to item CCL 2169, Draft Planning Agreement RAF Base Results of Public Exhibition. Can I please have someone move the report of the Growth Planner? Thanks, Councillor Parker. Have we got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Jones. Any questions or debate, councillors? Yes, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. A question to our Director, Stephen Wallace, our Director of Development and Environment. Can you let us know whether this has anything at all to do with the Bunnings DA, and further explain the executive summary for the community?
Thanks, Councillor Jones. I'll refer that question through the CEO to Mr Wallace.
Thank you, and through you, Mr Acting Mayor. The planning agreement, as proposed, relates to the whole of the former RAF Stores depot site. A condition of the Land and Environment Court in 2018 and their approval at that stage of the three-stage subdivision required the applicant to enter into a planning agreement. So that's what we have before us as a result of that approval from the Land and Environment Court. The planning agreement as proposed in no way endorses or disendorses the Bunnings warehouse application, which is currently before council staff at the moment. So it's completely, in that respect, completely unrelated.
Thanks, Mr Wallace. Any further questions or debate? Thanks, Councillor Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Acting Mayor. The concerns I have, I don't have any concerns with this matter before us, but I do note that there were 3 submissions from the community and they were completely off track and not relevant at all to the issue that they were speaking to. And this just worries me that people in the community will have the wrong idea about what this is. What this is, it's all about a nearly 100 acre slab of land in the centre of town, and things that the people who are developing it are doing which will provide benefits to the community, and that's all it is. It has nothing to do with anything that may go onto that site, any specific thing. So I would urge people when they're looking at these sorts of things to read carefully what the issue's about and not read things into them that aren't necessarily there. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Any further questions or debate, councillors? No? Then I'll put it. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. That brings us to the Dubbo Regional Council representatives on the Western Regional Planning Panel, 7-0 of 21. Can I have someone move the report of the Manager, Building and Development Services? Thanks, Councillor Diffie. Seconded, Councillor Jones. Any questions or debate, councillors? All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. That brings us to item CCL 2171, Design Services for Bulk Water Infrastructure, Extension of Consultancy Agreement for 1 year. Can I have someone move the report of the Manager of Major Projects? Thanks, Councillor Parker. Seconded, Councillor Diffie. Any questions or debate, councillors? I'll put this item then. All those in favour and against, I declare it carried. That brings us to the Event Assistance Program 2020-2021 Event Funding, 7-2 of 21. Can I please have someone move the report of the Director of Culture and Economy? Thanks, Councillor Etheridge, and seconded by Councillor Parker. Any questions or debate, councillors? All those in favour? Against? I declare it carried. And that brings us to the last substantial item before we move into comments and matters of urgency and so forth. The question of Dubbo Regional Council representation to the Taronga Conservation Society Australia Board. Can I please have someone move the report of the Director Organisational Performance? Thanks, Councillor Etheridge. Seconded, Councillor Jones. Any questions or debate, councillors? I'll just say a few things about that. It's proposed that we take the, I think, unusual step of appointing or of recommending, I should say, to the state government that a staff member of Dubbo Regional Council be appointed as our representative on the zoo board. To my knowledge, in the past, it's tended to be the mayor or a councillor. Perhaps that's not completely without exception, but I think that's certainly been the trend. And I've heard that it's rather been a keenly sought after position at different times. Look, it's my view that there's a lot of sound reasons to appoint a very senior staff member to this position. A senior staff member can do it as part of their job and they won't be required to be paid for it. A senior staff member, whether it's the CEO or Ms Comer, will have all of the knowledge and expertise and experience that they bring to bear as senior staff members of council. I think that will place them in a position to get up to speed very, very quickly on the business of the board. Will put them, I think, in a very credible position as an operator on that board. And look, I certainly strongly support this. I hope that it sets a trend and that people in the community see it as us doing something quite responsible, I think inappropriate, rather than seeking to appoint one of our number or something of that nature, that we've decided that our staff are better placed to do it, and I think that is a good message and very appropriate. Any other questions or debate, councillors? I'll put that then. All those in favour and against, I declare that carried. With Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've been approached by a member of the community, one of the Samuels family, and he has asked me to talk to fellow councillors and advocate for James Samuels to have part of the Dubbo Hospital new build named after him. And I was reading through the request, and as I read through it and looked at what Mr James Samuels had done, I quickly became convinced that this is something I want to support, and I think council should support as well. James Samuels, he's regarded as the founding father of the hospital. He attended the first planning meeting for a hospital in Dubbo in 1866. In 1867, he accepted the post of treasurer when the first treasurer of the committee resigned. On the opening of the Dubbo Hospital, he continued in this position until his death, a total service of more than 60 years. I thought that alone was pretty good. And then I read that much of the land on which the hospital stands was actually donated by James Samuels, and the rest donated by other landowners inspired by his example. He maintained and lived on the land where his family home was situated on the western side of where the railway is today, and he bequeathed that to the hospital in his will. So I'm just foreshadowing to the CEO that I'm going to be putting a motion to council at an upcoming meeting that we actually support this request from the family, and I will be endorsing that wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Councillor Parker? And Councillor Jones? And Councillor Etheridge? And Councillor Diffie? I attended the Anzac Day events yesterday as the representative of council, and the events went very well, the dawn service and then the 11 a.m. event. At the end of the 11 a.m. event, Tom Gray of the Dubbo RSL sub-branch turned to me and said, make sure that you pass on to all our staff our very great appreciation of how, yet again, the event's just gone so well, so smoothly. I think it looks to everyone who turns up for these wonderful events like it just happens, but of course it doesn't just happen. Lots of hard work behind the scenes, and yet again council staff as well as the community did a really great job. The RSL sub-branch as well, and all the different participants in the march and the different events and so forth all did a great job, so I just wanted to note that. In comments and matters of urgency, I'll put that we move into Committee of the Whole. All those in favour, against, we'll move into Committee of the Whole and suspend the live stream. Okay, thank you. I now reopen the April 2021 Ordinary Council meeting, the time being 7:30. Returning then to item CW 21/5, the confidential matter. Can I please have someone move the report from the CEO? Thanks, Councillor Diffie. Seconded, Councillor Ryan. Any questions or debate, councillors? All those in favour? Against? I declare that carried. And I'll ask the Executive Officer to read the report of Committee of the Whole.
With regard to the matter CW 21/5, confidential matter, the Council has resolved that the verbal report of the CEO be noted.
Thanks, Ms Wade. There being no further items for consideration in this council meeting, I declare the meeting closed.